the series, the Quincy crew, they're probably smart enough to ban it.
Already.
And
So,
so, you know, get it out,
which
but
one do you
then
think
you
is
have
higher
the
value,
problem
the
that you're
Puck,
giving
the
EG
DK, or the Terrible
Lion,
Jenkins?
which
Because
is
those seem to be
a
the three
75%
go-tos
win
for
rate hero. They're
EG.
most
Yeah, well, Puck has a
100% win rate for them.
notorious
Timbersaw.
as
He is a
weak.
massive pain on the ass on
So
this
it
hero.
does look
More
good.
so
This
than
is
anybody, the hero
on the
that they
Agreed.
carried themselves
and while
with through
these
the
openers may
NA
seem
DPC.
interesting, you think to yourself,
Probably,
okay,
I think in the
Timbersaw
series,
shreds
Quincy
the
crew, they're probably
axe,
smart enough
but the
to
axe
ban it.
coupled with the Phoenix
And so,
Sunray
you know,
destroys
get it out,
Timbersaw.
but then you have
so
the
already there's a
problem
bit of
that
a
you're
50-50
giving
here.
EG
there's
Lion,
answers,
which is
and
a
also
75% win rate hero. Their most side, LGD, 100% win rate with Phoenix
Notorious,
this week,
of course.
Timbersaw. We haven't been able to see them play as much
more so
as
than
Evil
anybody,
Geniuses,
of course, going
in
to
the
the
lower
planet.
brackets.
Agreed. And while
and
these openers
Axe
may
also,
seem
this is the
interesting,
team that kind of
you think to
invented
yourself,
Axe.
okay,
They
Timbersaw
do the
shreds
Axe
the
carry,
axe,
they do
but
the
the
Axe
axe
offlane.
coupled with the Phoenix Sunray
Played fantastically
destroys
in both of
Timbersaw.
these positions.
So already there's a bit of a 50-50
So you don't really know
here.
exactly what's going to happen.
there's
They
answers,
can also
and
run
also
5 Phoenix
just
or
going
4
to
Phoenix.
some stats on the other
You
side.
really, LGD,
It's just
100% win rate
in
with
front of
Phoenix
EG
this week. Of
kind of
course,
offensive, but there's
we haven't been able to see them play as much as Evil Geniuses.
In the series that they ended up running the carry Axe, they did first face
team
this
that kind of
exact same.
invented Axe. Like they do the Axe carry, they do the Axe offlane. It's played fantastically in both of these positions. So you don't really know exactly what's going to happen, and they can also run 5 Phoenix or 4 Phoenix. You really, it's just, you know, I hate to say it in front of EG because it's kind of offensive, but there's just question marks with this draft. You don't know what's happening here.
In the series that they ended up running the carry Axe, they did first face this exact same thing, Phoenix and the Axe, and they put it on Ame as opposed to Faith Beyond on the Axe. And their bans were kind of similar. They did take out the Storm Spirit again when they were running carry Axe, so I'm sure Bulba has a lot of notes. We saw some of them on camera, and chances are that he's planning for contingencies. Is it going to be Faith Beyond, or is it going to be Ame on the Axe?
I think you run the carry Axe when you have a better offlaner than you can pick. If I recall in the game that they played versus Evil Geniuses, they ran the carry Axe after they last picked Darkseer.
Correct.
After Evil Geniuses last picked Wraith King.
Damn,
so
you have a good memory.
I remember because because I remember PSG.LGD's game so much because I really am a fan of this team, but I'm not biased.
Of course,
I literally
because I also like
unbiased.
Evil Geniuses.
Not biased.
But no. So what I think happened there was they were planning on running the offlane Axe, but they see this Wraith King and the Darkseer just looks too good in the moment, and they're like, whatever, we'll give it to Ame. He owns.
That makes sense. I mean, you wouldn't want to particularly run the Axe as a carry into the Timbersaw anyway because it's just such a tough lane. But like you said, like if they can flex it, having that availability is super valuable. And while it's one of those things that can feed to a Timbersaw, I do recall that matchup. If Axe can get an early Vanguard, if he has a decent support in the lane, he can farm. But it's not an easy one. It's like it's very like kind of staring off the edge of a cliff and you know, or teetering on the edge of a cliff. You know, one of the heroes is going to feed.
Please don't talk about cliffs.
So,
you already apologized for talking about question
really,
marks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been
So I would just like to note that they banned out Ovid's popular heroes like Storm Spirit and Ember, and by banning Storm and Ember, you are covering your backline Phoenix, which is very important. Then of course the RTZ Terrorblade, you do not give that hero away to Evil Geniuses. They are way too good with it. And on the other hand, Evil Geniuses ban out the Leshrac, which they played 3 times yesterday in their series versus T1. The Death Prophet, which they also played, and the Ursa to cover the Timbersaw. So everything looks pretty standard so far.
I really like the Razor as an answer to Timbersaw. I know a lot of people would think like, oh, okay, of course, with the new Timber Chain, you're super fast, you can get away from the Razor static link, but guess what? Razor's move speed ability has also been buffed like 7 times in a row. So if you get Boots of Travel, which is the standard build for most Razors in almost any position, you can easily chase after the Timbersaw after a chain, and then you just shred through his armor with the ultimate, and you can kill him no matter how farmed the Timber is. So it's kind of a pseudo answer, and with the break coming from the Hoodwink, now they definitely have the ability, as well as the Phoenix, to kill Timber in the game. It's not going to be one of these totally unkillable Timber games, unless he gets off to an incredibly good start, which, you know, could happen. It is Ice.
Absolutely agreed.
To be smart is to be better, with bigger ways to explore your interests, to chase your passions, and to follow your purpose through Smart Double Giga Video. Get 2 times better and bigger data with 2 gigabytes of video guaranteed every day for YouTube and more, plus data for all sites and apps. Be smart, be better.
And I want to talk talk about this clock a little bit, because if you're a Razor, you do not want to be hookshotted and cogged by a clock. If there's a Timbersaw on the enemy team, there's not really that much you can do until your team builds 4 stuffs. You can die on this hero, and the same goes for Hoodwink. Clock is very good at catching her. However, I'm starting to think that Clock falls off a little bit. He does really well in the first 15 minutes, but then he just doesn't give teams the burst that they need. And no, they addressed that with Zelina, so...
This is kind of cool. I mean, LGD is kind of taking the Hoodwink. I know they've also played it, but not as much as EG plays it. And then on the other side, you have EG taking this presumably mid Lina, which nothing to say has looked absolutely incredible on this hero. And I think if Void
has not even played it a single time this tournament yet.
I think if Void isn't already banned, I can't see the bans from here. He's not banned. I think you need to take the Faceless Void out if you are LGD with the Lina, and I honestly think that Faceless Void looks really good because you have the Timber to bait people in. I think on Effie on another panel you were talking about how like you want to play Faceless Void when you have somebody to run in and basically cause chaos and set up for good chronos, and Timber does just that. And I think they need a little bit more hard carry in the game and a little bit more like they don't really have any like big team fight ultimates from EG, and they need that out of a carry, which is kind of just the Void.
Agreed. And I just wanted to say that I really love watching these teams borrow from each other. Over the last few days, it's just been so cool to watch. They took the Nature's Prophet from Noping, and then the Hoodwink was taken from NA by LGD. It's just really cool to watch them.
It's very anime for them to assimilate these teams after they conquer them.
You know, it's Aoi and I were actually talking about this, how there's a massive level of respect between the teams when you go later and later into a tournament, where you see... I think we were looking at Nigma. They were running some Spectre, and they weren't going for Echo Saber, and then they started losing with it. And then in the next few games in the DPC or something, I think they were watching like VP. VP was playing Spectre, going for Echo Saber, and then they started picking up the Echo Saber Spectre on Nigma again. So it's like you can see a lot of these top teams, they really respect the ideas that other teams come up with, and instead of trying to like theory craft what's right or what's wrong, they'll literally just pick it. They'll just try it and just assume this is a fierce competitor. There's a reason that they're picking this. We need to try this so we can get an idea of why they're actually doing this.
And that speaks volumes on the confidence of the team. They know that even if they haven't played it before, they can do it well because they believe in their players. So I think that's pretty awesome, and that separates the teams at the top from the ones
it's
at
like
the bottom.
It's like their ideas are good. We trust that our competitors are fierce, but we are good enough to also execute on their ideas that maybe we don't 100% know.
And it's also part of the beauty of having LAN Dota in one location where everyone is playing pubs in the exact same region. Everyone's seeing these builds come out, and as you suspected, the Faceless Void does get banned, but also a bit off the wall ban. Arc Warden gets taken out as well by LGD.
You know what? Going up against EG in Grand Finals, I can kind of understand that. It seems like they always pull this hero out eventually for RTZ. What do we get? Oh, Nature's Prophet.
He's back.
Okay, so they're going full tempo then.
Right, but you were talking about teamfight, and Nature's Prophet does provide that early teamfight. His level 6 does so much damage early on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a surprising amount of damage, and it can turn these early skirmishes around in the blink of an eye. So I can see this hero being a teamfight hero for the first 20 minutes of the game. However, he can get outscaled by a lot of more typical carries that are available right now for PSG.LGD.
It is an interesting matchup versus the Phoenix too, because although you're not exactly a hero that, you know, you don't have any innate buff to your attack speed or anything like that, but Nature's Prophet will build attack speed items. He also is in the top 10 heroes that have the highest agi gain in the game. He is the only non-agi hero in the top 10. So he does hit really quickly, and if Phoenix is going into a team fight, you can just TP on the egg from anywhere on the map and hit the egg with the Lina, and he's kind of those extra like 2 or 3 right clicks that you need. So
and there is absolutely, and there is synergy with teleportation and heroes like Clockwork and Lion who can look for kills all over the map. They'll never have to worry about, is our carry close enough to fight with us? Nature's Prophet eliminates that completely.
Yeah, and now that you mention that, I do remember EG in the game that they had the Nature's Prophet before, in one of the games, they also had Ice playing his famous Timbersaw, and this guy was playing just right in their face, like so deep into the enemy towers that it's like, okay, he should feed. But then RTZ would be willing to TP in and risk his own life to back up Ice, and that allowed Ice throughout the game to play ridiculously aggressive to the point no other Timbersaw could get away with it, only because they were both so confident that they would bail each other out.
That's actually really cool.
EG draft ticking basically every box you could ask for. They've got push, they've got magic damage, they've got burst, they've got physical, they've got tanky, they've got initiating. LGD are burning through reserve time to figure out what carry, maybe, can we slot into this?
Yeah.
Faith Beyond or Ame on this Axe still, who knows? Because chances are this Timbersaw wants to follow Axe around and Axe wants to be in Nature's Prophet's lane. So
there's a lot of ways that you could go with this. I think this EG lineup is one that you could possibly look to outscale. I don't think you would try to like damage outscale it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You can go on.
Some sort of like Spectre's banned, but something along those lines. Like I think if you try to damage outscale Lina and Nature's Prophet just because of their stat gains and the innate buffs they have, it might be hard. Okay.
So it is a carry X. They are playing to win.
Cool.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I mean, we considered the possibility at the very beginning. Quick predictions. Jenkins, which draft do you like better?
Oh God.
You can't think. I need quick predictions.
I'm gonna go LGD here. I think it's a really good Axe game versus the non-Timbersaw cores. I think they can feed.
Okay, Effie, how about you?
I'm gonna go LGD as well, just because I love watching them on their carry Axe, and the Sand King seems pretty appropriate to deal with Nature's Prophet. So.
Yeah, they've got answers ready. And it's only game 1 of a game 5 situation. This is the grand finals. And I gotta say, both teams coming with some comfort, but also some exotic stuff. The Nature's Prophet, like you said, Effie, this has kind of been imported from South America, as we saw earlier.
Disputed best team here at the AniMajor. I'll go so far as to guarantee they're gonna take this dub.
Like to take a moment to apologize to the Chinese fans who are watching this broadcast. We can't control Kyle. It just is what it is. So I guess it's going to be the Kyle curse versus the Arteezy curse. Which one of these two is going to be stronger? And you know, Kyle, I was actually talking to Jack earlier. Jack, KBBQ, our insider in the Chinese scene. And he described Ame is, in the Chinese scene, he's got a little bit of Artur vibes. And you can get it, right? The last 3 TIs he's been at. 2nd, 4th, 3rd.
I mean, he was removed from LGD and then invited back because they realized that you just can't replace him.
No.
Who has the guts to pick an Axe for himself in the first game of a Grand Final BO5? This is another player notable for losing a 5th game of a Grand Final Best of 5 with a last pick AniMaj for himself, trying to do his best burning impression, but many throughout the years have tried and failed to do just that. Either way, like the draft from both sides, pretty balanced. A bit of what you'd expect in the first game. Remember, it's a BO5. It's a long series. We can expect there to be an independent meta that will develop as the games go on. But the carry Nature's Prophet has been deadly from EG.
2-2 split on the bounties. Did you hear our draft panel? They were actually both favoring LGD's lineup. What do you think it was about LGD's draft that motivated them to go for the Chinese team here?
Well, they're definitely fans of the Ame Axe. I think it's just, again, really gutsy pick. I am concerned for PSG.LGD's ability to deal with Timbersaw. And Razor against Lina, this is one of the more unfavorable matchups. I expect Abed to do quite well here. However, they do have the Hoodwink. That's key because break against Timber is obviously a hard counter. EG with the Lion Clock can be very effective as well, just zoning out team fights. We've talked throughout the tournament a lot about how Clock is very adept at hunting Hoodwink through the trees.
Nothing to say. He's already got something to say about that matchup. Kyle, he's gotten the first 2 denies of the wave. So he may already be in Abed's head. Fly, we're going to run down why here. Of course, battery assault level 1. Not the greatest amount of damage, but he's so far away from the tower. He's got a fairy fire. Fly does have the movement speed advantage here. Just ever so barely, but he's going to have to give up on it.
And he drops the sentry as well. Arteezy should be able to do quite well against a Sand King early on, but it does definitely get harder when there's points in the Caustic, along with a couple extra ones in Sandstorm.
No, they just managed to get to this grand